Hi, my name is Michael and I'm the co-founder of Everything Cryptocurrencies. And yeah, obviously I've come here to talk to Jason because I want to pick your brain on a few things. Because obviously I'm a trader myself, learning how to trade FX as well as investing into cryptocurrency. So yeah, I just want to ask you a few questions and hopefully I can get something out of this interview with you.
Excellent. Look forward to it.
So I've been watching your videos for a few years now alongside my brother, who is also the co-founder. And yeah, your videos they're wicked, they're great. And obviously, you're teaching a community of traders at Tier 1 Trading alongside Kill Stokes. His podcast is wicked as well. And yeah, I just want to pick your brain. So, before I get into anything of asking any questions, try to do a bit of research on you. I believe you started a few businesses before.
Mm-hmm.
Can you just tell me, a little bit about your background before you got into teaching and Forex?
Yeah, so I started my first company was a car wash at 13 years old, saving up for a BMX. That was the point where I sort of realised you could use money to get more money. So I did a car wash. On the first day I got £7 and my friend offered to help me the next day, but I didn't want to give him the £7 because I wanted to save up for this BMX. But my dad came into my room and he said, "I'm going to Sainsbury's, do you want anything?" And something made me give him that £7 to get another bucket and sponge from a friend. So I gave all of my earnings away on day one. So the P&L was like, and the next day we did 4 cars because he was able to help. And that really sort of sparked something in my head that if you use money correctly, you can leverage much greater. And by the end of the summer we had, there was 4 of us. I wasn't washing cars, I was just selling. And so we had this whole thing going on and I bought the bike in no time. And that was when I decided I didn't want to ever work for anyone. So very quickly out of school I wanted to be a fireman, but I wanted to also build a business on the side. So I went into electrical engineering and I thought, the fireman was the thing that I really wanted to do. The electrical thing was something I was natural at and I knew I could earn a lot of money from. Started a business in my shed at 21 after having my first son. And from that point, I've just built businesses, whether it's in service or online, offline. I've helped start up businesses by funding them, giving input into what I've learned doesn't work and what I've learned does work, and just sort of business is my hobby, I guess.
Nice, wicked. So from that transition of at an early age, like learning that you didn't want to work for somebody, had that business mindset from early, how is that different to trading? Like a business and trading, what's the difference? What do you think from your experience?
Well, that's just the reason I went into trading is because the industry I was in was very frustrating, and I didn't want to have to rely forever on dealing with difficult clients. I didn't want to have that frustration, so I wanted a way of being able to take full control over my financial future. And I'd always been into from the I started the business at 21, about 24, 25, I started saving and investing. Very, very low, semi-passive, boring investments. But I worked out that if I kept increasing my income and I kept increasing my savings, I'd accelerate the journey until I got so frustrated where I said, I need a plan, a 5-year plan. And that's when I started looking at options, Forex, poker. Yeah, okay. Very, very, very high risk, high speculative skill sets. Games, if you want to call them games, because there's a winner and a loser. And I've lost a lot of money, but I figured out a lot of stuff that didn't work. So I call it education. And then when I became good, the real difference between that business and this business is you are completely free. It's you against the market. There's no staff. There's no HR problems. There's no client problems. There's no product problems. There's no geographical problems. It's
Definitely.
just you're liberated. And for me, it was just a tool to get free to figure out what I actually wanted to do. So it wasn't. I don't want to trade for trading because it's just money.
Yeah.
So for me, it was very much a tool to sort of go, let me just free up my time from that so that I can figure out actually are there still parts of that business that I like that I can work on? Is there something else I can work on? Do I just want to become better at trading? Do I want to teach trading? And I've done lots of bits and pieces since. Your life doesn't stop when you become a trader. In fact, you get a lot of time, and then you get no time because you fill it up with stuff that you like that requires no motivation. Does that make sense?
Absolutely, of course, 100%. So let's just I just want to get to a bit more like trading stuff, like per se. So I've seen a picture on your social media of
really? I'm quite camera shy.
No, of you when you was, I think it was when you was back testing,
right?
And you're falling asleep.
Honestly, yeah.
So
it's one of many.
Yeah. So that's like, for example, you know, my partner, obviously, he's experienced that as well when he's done back testing as well. I just want to know, like, if you've got a strategy in the market, if you do a course with anybody out there, what is the importance? How important is it to basically back test your strategy?
For me, it was really everything. It was the turning point, I'll be honest with you, because before, you've essentially got one of three things. You've got a tool, which is a platform or an app, right? And traders will just download an app and they'll start trading. Or they'll focus on a community, like a crypto community, a guru of some kind, right? Pip Daddy and all those, right? Or they'll focus on a strategy, so just a strategy. The thing is, even if you just take a course, there's no direction as to where you need to go with that, right? Yeah. If you find a community, there's so many mixed opinions that you don't know what to believe. And if you find just a tool, well, then you haven't got any accountability, so you haven't got a community, and you haven't got an edge because you haven't got a winning system. How do you get the winning system? Well, you get the winning system by testing it, getting the black and white results, right? And not only that, what that does for you is, as traders, we never know what's going to happen next for definite, right? So even if you do load of testing, right, and you go out into the market and you start trading, as you hit a drawdown, you at that point have doubts because you don't know if it's all going to change. We never know, and you cannot know that, right? Ever. So we never know if our system might just change one day and we're out of the water. We never know that. No trader ever knows that because that's telling the future. So what we need to do is prepare our mind psychologically and be in the best frame of mind to trade live. So this all makes sense, right? But no one does it, right? So how do we do that? Well, we first test historic data and we say, right, that's how it's performed over the last 5 years. So at least we've got something black and white that says that's how it should perform. Not only that, it helps you build up your RAS so that you identify patterns easier. You build discretion from testing. And then when you get to the point of going live, you've not only had all the data of how it should perform, but you've picked out the losing trades, you've filtered out all of the pairs that aren't profitable, on that particular strategy, and you've got a business plan, a solid business plan, probably the best business plan you can ever create, because it's not like a shop where you go to a bank and say, I'm going to open a shop, I've got a really good idea, I'm a really good chef, I can make these great cakes, I need this and this money. They're going to go, well, that's dependent on, how many vegans live in your area, how many, where the shop is, your skill, are you going to show up late, what's your performance, I don't know. With backtesting, it's printed on the charts. Anyone can go and check that. You can forecast a performance based on solid evidence.
So does that come into the, with the drawdown part of this, what you said is, so for example, so like my business partner's experience as well, we hit, 5 or 6 losers in a row.
Yep.
But because he's back tested his strategy, he understands that it's not all, that's just the way the market is sometimes. But going back to, what you said about, just forming a plan and stuff is, so I'll give you an example. So I've done a trading course as well. And I've got loads of different strategies, understanding the language of the markets. I've got a good understanding of the markets basically. However, if I've put together like MA crossovers and Fibonacci and key, trading around key levels of support and resistance, there's so many different strategies there to use. So, in your experience, how is it? Would you focus on one strategy? Would you advise a new trader that comes into the market? Who's learning off a demo account as an example, would you advise them to focus on one strategy, backtest that strategy, or would you just get them to get an overall picture of, how to trade basically before actually getting involved?
Yeah, I mean, without a doubt, the first thing you should learn is how to read price. Price action's absolutely key because that is the market. It's up and down. The market's going to go up, down, or sideways, and if you understand the little nuances of those movements, you're going to have and support and resistance. You're going to have a much better chance at succeeding from the out the gate. A lot of people think that psychology, doesn't drive the market, but it does. If everyone, if it makes me laugh when we're in forums and people say, I disagree with that, you disagree with that. Well, if we all had agreement, the market would flatline. It wouldn't move. So you need disagreements, right, for the markets to even move. Yeah. Therefore, it's driven by psychology. Therefore, we need to make money off of those moves in the market. So, learning price, don't learn everything. So people try and learn everything. I've seen charts that are look like my kids have got the crayons out and drawn all over the charts. And what you do from learning too much. So take Baby Pips for instance.
Yeah,
right?
I know
So it's a great learning resource center if you want to learn everything about Forex trading, right? If you learn everything about Forex trading, you're going to have so much conflict in your mind that you won't be able to take a trade. Because one thing you read will be saying, oh, I should look to go long here. And one thing you read said, I should stay out. And one thing will say, I should be going there. Yeah. So it's really important to build a system around your personality. So don't learn too much. Yeah. Build on it step by step. And, don't get shiny object syndrome. There's no better system. Right, definitely. Everyone can enhance their system to as best it can be, and they're probably all level at the end, right? But you have to build it to your personality, and there's 3 things that you want to pay attention to when taking your personality into consideration. One is your strike rate. So, how much do you like to be right, or how comfortable are you with being wrong? So, strike rate's the first one. Risk reward profile is the second one. So, how do you like a big reward? Are you happy with a 1-to-1? And the third thing is opportunities, because there's a lot of traders that feel like they want a lot of opportunities, and they feel like if they're not got a lot of opportunities, then they need to be doing more, and that's when they go and start revenge trading or forcing trades or checking another system. And what you want to do is find the sweet spot of all those 3. Yeah. Typically, if you've got a high strike rate, you're going to have less opportunities, for instance, right? If you've got because you're more conservative, you're getting higher quality trades, so you're going to have less opportunities. There's less of them, right? Reward to risk profile. Typically, I know traders that are wrong 80% of the time, but they have a 10-to-1 reward to risk, so they don't have a lot of opportunities either. Yeah. So it's about finding your sweet spot. Everyone's got a different appetite to risk, and my advice would be start from the basics, learn price, slowly build, and build it more around your personality. But the underlying thing is consistency. So whatever you're learning, make sure it's consistent, make sure that you are doing it at the same time every day, you're looking at the markets the same way every day, and you're taking as many notes as you can.
I think you've answered half my question.
I can talk a lot.
So just to expand on what you said, so I've read books such as Trading in the Zone, Great Market book. Wizards,
everyone should read that book, by the way.
Great books. That kind of changed my perspective, even just on investing, not just on trading Forex as well. Intelligent Investor, recently finished that as well. And just from my experience and from my, people that I know, their experience, psychology seems to be, you could have the holy grail, like you said, you could have the best strategy in the world, but the theme, the reoccurring theme seems to be that psychology is probably the most important part of trading. Yeah. I understand, there are different aspects to trading, piecing it all together like a recipe, like a cake. But how would you, advise somebody? Let's say, for example, someone's got a very impulsive personality. Yeah. And obviously, when they want to get involved in the markets, how would you basically advise that person to not get attached to their trades? And just to, just for example, I've been there as well. I'm sure many other people have been there as well. You stay attached. We have this, belief that we have to be on the charts every single hour of the day. But that's not freedom, because in my opinion, I want to get into trading and investing because I want to be more free. It's not just about money.
Totally. I was the same.
It's like what you said. I just want to be free. I want to make money while I don't have to be doing something then and there. So that goes against what I believe in, just being at the charts all day and this and that. That does play a role in your psychology as well,
Yeah.
because if you're constantly watching the markets and watching how the trade actually goes, and you could say, oh, I could have got into this trade or that trade, and should have moved my stop loss here or take profit there. So how would you advise somebody in that position to kind of improve their psychology in that aspect?
Two ways. One, calm the hell down. So go out on the higher time frames. Right? So don't trade the lower time frames. Let's just concentrate on the dailies and the 4 hour, right?
That's right.
By doing that, you're still going to develop the same skills required to trade any time frame because you're consistent. But you want to make it easy for yourself to build the skill. So you don't want to, like I always say, if you imagine learning to play guitar, right? So let's just say 1 month you learn the G chord, and then you spend a whole month learning the C chord, and then a whole month learning the D chord, right? 4 months in, you might want to play a slow song using those 3 chords. Right? You can play the chords really well. You can play the song really well because it's slow. If a year later you want to play a fast song using those 3 chords, you're going to be able to do it because your muscle memory's there, the skills developed, and it's just a case of playing faster. That's it. Why people fail is they don't learn the skill. They rush and they don't embed that skill. So literally, just calm down. Go higher out. And the second piece of advice is treat it like a business, because it is. And if you think about what you said about impulsive and having to sort of looking at charts and looking at trades, I always think about them as my employees. So this is a trading business and the markets are the employees. Well, if you was to start any other business, I see so many people trying to look at so many markets. If you started a business tomorrow, you wouldn't employ 20 staff on day one. You wouldn't, because you wouldn't know what ones are going to steal from you, what ones you can trust, what ones underperform in certain areas, how they get on together, how they work together, what ones like holidays, what ones don't wake up till late. So what you want to do is you want to be in a position to micromanage one before introducing another, because that's like any business. I employ you, I give you a job, I manage you, then I micromanage you, then I trust you, you're bringing in money, then I go and employ someone else. Like, why you would go and try and trade 28 pairs in day one, I have no idea, but it doesn't work. So take it slow and employ your pairs instead of trade your pairs. Like, bring them in slowly.
Definitely, wicked, absolutely. So with tier 1 trading, you guys use different strategies for different market conditions. So you use advanced pattern formations, such as Cypher, Gartley, when the market's in consolidation, and then you use trend continuation, trend following. So just to kind of piece it together, for a student, you've probably answered it already, but as a student, to learn different kind of strategies, would you have to backtest all them different strategies on all different time frames? Or would it be, so for example, like the daily, the 4 hour, the 2 hour, the 1 hour, would you have to backtest on different time frames?
I would only ever advise that someone tests a strategy on the time frame they are willing to trade on, right? So what are you planning to trade it on? And that all goes back to the first question you should ask yourself when you're trying to trade is, what time can you consistently dedicate to trading? Again, you're trying to build the skill and making it easy on yourself early on. So let's just say, for instance, someone comes to me and says, I want to trade the 60-minute time frame or the 15-minute time frame. And I say, well, what do you do? And they say, well, I run a full-time business and I've got meetings every day and then I pick the kids up from school. Well, when can you actually be in front of your charts consistently? 10 o'clock at night, for an hour? Well, you're not going to get anything there. You don't want to trade the 15-minute time frames because you're probably going to get most action, London, New York cross, maybe. Maybe the London Open. And so you want to figure out when you can consistently devote time to the charts, start on a higher time frame. And the key with learning a strategy then is not to just learn the rules of a strategy, because this goes back to the whole personality thing. You can't just give someone some rules and let them go off into the hills, because they'll just, one, you can't expect them to have the same appetite for risk. 2, they might like being right more than they're wrong. 3, you don't know their account size. 4, they might not be able to be in front of the charts for a very low win percentage, because say for instance you're wrong 80% of the time. Those 2 trades matter. Like, them 2 winning trades matter, right? So you don't want to lose consistency because you're trying to trade at a time when you can't trade. I know this all sounds really, really obvious, and I feel like I'm sort of just talking like this is so obvious, but these are the problems that people have. These are the problems people have.
Of course.
So going back to your question, it's not really about the strategy. First of all, I'd say you have to absolutely test everything you're going to trade.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But you don't have to trade every time frame. Like, why? It
Yeah.
depends. If you're happy being in front of your charts all day, go lower time frame. If you can consistently do that, I can't. I've got no interest in trading lower time frames all day. I got into trading to generate supplementary income initially, so I could free up my time from a PC. You know, all the testing and everything made me wear glasses, but
that's good. That's good. Absolutely. So another thing that you and Akil, what you kind of promote in whenever you're doing videos or doing podcasts, is you make your clients and your students self-reflect on their journeys and where they are and stuff. And the accountability sessions, that's what they're called, right?
Yep.
So I'm just out of curiosity, you know, is that something that you and Akil, your whole team kind of came up with, or was this something you was taught beforehand? Like, to do this?
I've always spent a lot of money on personal accountability sessions, like accountability groups, personal development. I'm a member of 3 of my own at the moment, where I meet a guy last Friday of every month. 6 o'clock in the morning, we run through.
I think I saw that. Yeah, you put it on your
And I submit a spreadsheet to another accountability group every Friday and Sunday. So Friday is what I've achieved the week. Sunday's my plans for the following week, and you have to hit 25 points, all this kind of thing. And that's had an enormous impact on my progress and development, because you just get a rocket up your ass. and there's competitiveness there, and not only that, if you're struggling with anything, you get instant feedback. You can talk and say, look, I'm struggling with this. I typically find people that are opposite to me. So, you know, my friend Guy, for instance, he's very structured. He's he's built corporate businesses, whereas I'm just 100 miles an hour, breaking stuff on the way, upsetting someone, you know, and I need someone to just catch the balls. But then I can also help him push his profile out. So I tend to sort of get around opposite people. But it's absolutely key. And the reason it's key is because, one, you are putting yourself out there, and there's a very powerful thing that happens from that, because when you're learning to trade, not many people talk about trading to anyone else, right? So you typically, you won't talk about it around your dinner table at Christmas.
No.
And no one knows what trading is. Everyone thinks it's risky. You probably won't ever mention it because you're afraid to. And what accountability does, it allows you to release the information that you've only ever taken in. So when you talk, it's coming out of your subconscious mind that's been sitting there, and you realise you've actually learnt a lot more than you thought you'd learnt. So where it's just sitting there, like I made someone explain a double top the other day, and so, you know, they know what it is, but explaining the rules of what meets the criteria for a valid double top, they'd never done, and they were struggling. They were like, oh, right. But I was like, well, what about, so the high or the close? And it's like, yeah, this is hard. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you're releasing information that you've only ever taken in, and it really gives you something powerful happens. It really gives you clarity over what you've learned. Second, it's like a ladder. Each time you say, right, I'm going to do this by this date, you can't move back.
No.
It's literally, you can't move back, because you've got to come on next time and explain to everyone what happened. You know, what's happened. You don't want to do that. And it makes you do it. It's absolutely crucial.
I like the way you've put that there. Like I said, you've answered a lot of questions.
No. But just going back to that, the reason we do it at Tier 1 is because we've built Tier 1 as a platform where there's no way to fail. So if you think about it, we worked with thousands of traders, and every trader thinks they've got their own problem, and they think they're the only one that's got that problem at the time, right? When you look down from a bird's eye view and you see all these thousands of traders, but it all boils down to 6 or 7 things, you can get, and some of those are personality traits, some of them are behavioural patterns, some of them are, you know, just missing the trick, but it's 6 or 7 things. And if you can build something that sort of wraps around it so there's no way out, and the only reason they can fail is because they've given up, it's very powerful. And accountability was an extremely important part, because people just going off people buy a course from someone, they go off, they've got no direction, they don't know what to do.
That's definitely something I've experienced myself
Yeah.
in the Forex industry. Like, you know, I don't know what the statistic is on top of my head, but you know, some of the smartest people in the world have, you know, quit their jobs and gone to trade, and it hasn't worked out for them.
No.
So I don't think it's I don't think it's a thing about intelligence. I feel like, you know, as I've gone through my journey, even just from cryptocurrency investing and also from trying to learn to trade Forex side by side, basically, yeah, even though if somebody does give you that strategy or whatever thing, I've learned more about myself, and it's not just, you know, going out to find a holy grail and to put a structured course together or whatnot, or learning it basically. I feel like you've got to do something that, you know, you have a passion, but obviously trading and learning something is not always going to be exciting. It's, you know, sometimes you are going to flatline. And I feel like, I don't know if you've experienced this, you probably have, but you know, you hit a wall.
Totally.
And basically, you know, the more you learn, like an information overload, it just doesn't go in. So I feel like I felt that a lot with, especially trying to learn Forex.
Yeah.
You know, so how, you know, from your experience, if I was one of your students or one of your clients and I came to you to tell you that, so I'm learning my strategies when I've backtested it, but then, you know, I'm finding it really hard to piece it all together. What would you say in that scenario?
First of all, I would tell you that you're going to hit a wall, because everyone hits a wall, whether that is a relationship wall. So someone might get sick of you doing that and gives you an ultimatum, like your brother or your partner or whatever. They might be like, I never see you. That's a wall. That can have a setback. Or you might lose all your backtesting data. I've had so many people lose a hard drive or it just gets wiped out. Having expectations that something is going to crop up helps, because you're there knowing that you're prepared for it. Piecing it all together, I think, comes naturally if you go about learning the right way. So I think if you build upon your system, learn how to fish, if you like, rather than just have some fish.
Yeah.
If you build upon it, I mean, we've constructed our platform in a way where it does piece it all together at the end. So it's very much layer upon layer upon layer. You learn exactly what you need about what you need, and then you can put it all together at the end. I think that comes naturally if you learn about it the right way. The people that typically don't seem to do too well or end up going year after year after year moving sideways, I call them the wounded crab, because they move sideways but they're slowly bleeding. They're the ones that typically just keep jumping.
Yeah.
Keep jumping, and they never actually take the time to go and do that process. But it's absolutely crucial. So I think piecing it together at the end just comes naturally if you learn the right way, if you've got the right tools as well. So, you know, when you start talking about money management, position sizing, things like that, it's very rare that you find people that provide you with the tools to do that. And
of course,
that's what you need. That's your business tools. It's like starting a business without a CRM or a accounting package. You know, you need that stuff. And again, it's still just missing from most places.
Nice, wicked, absolutely. So another question to ask you is, so on your social media, how long ago was it? I think it was like a month ago. You put on on your story, you know, what should I call my podcast that you're going to be creating? Yeah. And I think the results, you know, what got the most kind of voted percentage was the transparency trading podcast.
It's great, isn't it?
So that's wicked. So I'm just trying to, you know, piece it together myself. Look how you and Akil and all your team have, you know, built this honest image in the trade, because you guys put it quite, you know, bluntly, you guys ain't really flashy, you know, with cars and trying to sell people dreams, and that's the one thing that I like, you know, that's magnetized me to, you know, towards you guys, obviously. You know, so I just want to know how you guys have built this kind of honest image in the industry. How do you think you've done this?
By focusing on, we did one thing that was fundamentally changed our image perspective from others, and that was not shine the light on us, but shine the light on the clients. If you're focused on not the amount of people that come through the door, but the amount of successful traders leave the door, you narrow down your audience, you create this ideal client who's willing to put the work in, and you get results. And when they get results and they tell someone they've got results, and then they tell someone they've got results, what you do is you don't have any negative reviews. Instead, you build up a raving army of fans that want to go out and tell everyone how great your product is.
I believe word of mouth is more powerful than advertisement.
100%.
That's just what I've read, and I think that's my opinion. Because if I've done a course of you guys, or I've done a course and I'm raving about it and I've seen results, I'm going to tell everybody to go and do it.
Totally. And I think the reason the power that we had at the beginning is none of us needed money. So we started a business and said we were both sick of all the industry's crap, you know, there's a lot of crap, right?
Yeah.
So we were just so sick of that, we thought, well, we don't need money because we're trading. Let's just do this transparent thing and see how that goes. And it went from there, because all we're doing is there's nothing negative you can say about watching someone trade live every day, like a live account. What can you possibly say when you're tracking the results and you're seeing how they're doing in front of your eyes every day? There's not much negative feedback that you get from that. And we also decided that it was more of a passion project. So any normal industry, you want to provide value to people. Humans want to provide value for someone. Otherwise you just feel like unfulfilled.
Of course,
You want to be rewarded, right? And you want to just do something you love, right? So when you go into trading full time, you miss out on that value part. You're just being rewarded and you're doing something you love, and you feel like something's missing. You feel a bit sort of unfulfilled, right? So that's when we said, well, you know, we don't need money and we're doing something we love. Why don't we just tell everyone what we're doing and show them? And then it just grew from there.
Nice, wicked. Akil's podcasts are really good as well. Don't miss them.
Great.
They're really, really good as well. And your videos as well, like, you know, the fishing analogy video, that's wicked. I love that. And also your video about buying and renting, I was really shocked at the results. So I watched a video on Anton Krill. I don't know if you know who he is.
Yep.
And he done a video where there's a cameraman following him around for like one day or something, and he's asking him a series of questions. And then one of the questions was, I think, about buying and renting. Right. And Anton Krill, you know, says to him, "You're better off renting,
of course,
and obviously buying, you know, property outright." And I just found really, I thought that, and that was kind of something I just felt like that just felt really weird to me to hear that, because I've been taught from school and from my parents that you're better off getting a mortgage and that's it for the rest of your life. Pay it till you die, basically. And I felt, and when you put out that video as well, I shared it to a lot of people. They were shocked at the results as well, and I was just like, wow. And obviously, I think that kind of I kind of got a very rich dad, poor dad kind of feeling from it as well, because obviously you want assets to work for you, not the other way around.
Yeah, I think people get frustrated when it comes to property. It's such an emotive subject. I get attacked a lot, but the problem is there's no wrong or right, right?
Yeah.
You could buy a house, that's great. But there is a difference between someone that wants financial independence or financial freedom and someone that wants security and stability, right? Buying a property to live in is better for security and stability. But if you want financial independence, it makes it harder for you to get there, because you're locking up a load of cash inside a brick building that is literally rotting in the weather. Okay, and you haven't got access to that cash. Whereas I see it as lost returns on investment, because, you know, it's all great. Let's just say you buy a house for £500,000 and you put £500,000 into the house, and then the house goes up by £1 million, right? On paper, you're a millionaire at that point. You've got a house worth 1.5 million. You don't own any money, right? You pay the loan back and you've got £1 million of equity. Well, great, but what are you going to do every day? Like, you're still going to work, right? You're still not free.
No, you're not.
And you've got a house with £1 million worth of cash that could be earning you 50, 100 grand a year on very, very low semi-passive investments, where you don't have to work. So the problem where people get wound up is they know that they want financial independence, but they've chosen what everyone's told them is the best way. That's when they get frustrated. And ask anyone who's got any level of financial independence, and they'll tell you that renting is, you know, buying a property to live in on your own is not the way.
That's great. That's wicked.
Until you buy your forever home.
Yeah, of course. Wicked.
And that's a different story.
Nice. You definitely answered my question there. So you're writing a book.
Yeah.
I love books. I've read so many books this year, even last year. I think in school I took it for granted. Didn't really went to college, went to university, dropped out. I think I learned more from books than I did while I attempted to do my university degree. So I'm just curious to know, like, what's your book going to be about? Because I looked online, I can't really find much about. Like, I don't know if I've done good research or not, but I can't really find, you know, what your book's going to be about. What it's going to be focused on.
The book, first of all, the book you can get from the link below this video. If it's not here now, depending on when you're watching this, it will be there. The book's going to be coming out later this year, early next year at the latest. And the book is called Always Free, and that is because whenever we have like get-togethers or we're ringing up to meet and my friends and stuff, and I always used to say, you know, whenever you sort your calendars out, I'm always free, and that sort of became my motto. And then I've sort of realised that I'm always free because I've created a life that allows me to always be free, always make my own decisions, always be financially independent, not worry about anything, money or anything like that. So it's called Always Free, and it's essentially about the strategy that I implemented, that I spoke about earlier, from when I was 23 years old, to replace an income and then to accelerate wealth. And there's lots of books on investing, there's lots of books on saving, and there's lots of books on trading, but there's not a book that I know of that covers all three. And when you cover all three and you implement all three, that's a very, very powerful wealth creation strategy, and that's what the book's about.
Wicked. I'll be definitely buying that book. So, from your experience, best books for entrepreneurialism or business, in your opinion?
Listen, I'm going to have to mention a really good friend of mine, Daniel Priestley.
Okay.
He runs a company called Dent Global, and he's a best-selling author of 4 books called The Entrepreneur Revolution, Key Person of Influence, 24 Assets, and Oversubscribed. Go and get them. That is literally the only books you'll need if you're starting a business.
Okay, cool.
So, great books. Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Definitely.
Blue Ocean Strategy. If you're sort of more of a high performance business, the Dent ones. They're definitely ones to watch. Trading in the Zone. Disciplined Trader. Yeah. I personally like The Art and Science of Technical Analysis by Adam Grimes. He's a friend.
You recently interviewed him, right?
Yep. And Market Wizards.
Yeah, Market Wizards is a great one.
Yeah, the Ben Graham one that you mentioned earlier. It's great books. Yeah.
Wicked. So I'm going to go to a interesting video that you did with this trader. I don't even know if he was a trader, but you saw him sitting in a McDonald's, and he was glued to his phone. I think he was trading crypto. How did that even come about, or what was your, what did you get from it? I know I've watched your video and whatnot, but from your first-hand experience, what did you get from interviewing him?
Yeah, I got a lot of slack about that video because I didn't offer any assistance or help.
Okay.
Some people said, it's great. Some people said you should have told him and all this. Listen, it was completely off guard, right? I was on my way back from London. I popped into McDonald's to get a coffee for the train, and I saw this guy. He had a McFlurry. He hadn't touched a McFlurry. He was glued to his phone, and I thought, what's he watching? Either a dirty video, or because he looked disturbed, or he's trading, and I knew it. Right, so I looked at his phone, and he's got trades on, and he's glued to his phone. He can't take his eye off it. He's tapping it every time it goes black. And I just said, what? I thought I could either try and step in. But he doesn't look like he's in the mindset for me to go, you should be doing this, you should be doing that.
Yeah, of course.
Or I could use this and really get a message out about the problem in this industry. So I took my phone out and I started recording, and I started asking him some questions. And you can go and watch the video. It's just, it's shocking. But unfortunately, that is very common, very common. And it's a shame. And that's really my motivation to get that, to sort of relieve that and stop that from happening, not leading people down the garden path. You could tell by the words he was saying that it was just all buzzwords.
He started off first saying, I can't remember, don't do this, and then he was trying to give you advice. Yeah. In the space of a 10-minute conversation, he changed whatever he said.
It was complete conflict.
And it just went, I was just like, okay, fair enough.
Yeah. And unfortunately, that's some of the biggest educators out there that are teaching these people.
Okay, you censored that, obviously. Yeah. Okay, cool. So obviously, this brings me to my next question. What's your take on, Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies in general? What do you think about it?
Yeah, Bitcoin, I think, well, let's just talk about crypto. I think everything's going to be crypto, eventually. I think they're going to do away with currency. They're just going to, I don't know, instead of being the British pound, they'll just say, we're going to stop the British pound because of theft and counterfeits and criminals, and we're just going to phase that out, and we're going to drop a load of pound crypto into the system.
Definitely.
And that's the way it's going to go. I think it's the future. So, I mean, everyone needs to get used to it. that's going to be the way.
Definitely.
In terms of Bitcoin, I've been monitoring Bitcoin for over a year.
Mm-hmm.
I say over a year, since 2011 I've been tracking it.
Okay.
But not, just seeing what's happening with it, not
Okay.
interested, just expecting the initial hype.
Yep.
It was built on hype. And by the way, ICOs, like, if there's any ICO, the whole point of a cryptocurrency is it's not reliant upon anything, right? It's not,
Of course.
there won't be any banks,
Nope.
right? So if there's anyone hyping up a coin or an ICO, well, that's going against everything it stands for, right? So I'm
100%.
very, very wary of that. With Bitcoin, I've been tracking it for a long, long time. It wasn't tradable. It was going up. It was an investment.
Mm-hmm.
It was a punt. If you believed in the coin and you read the white paper and you was like, this is the history, this is what I believe in, bang, I'm going to invest.
Mm-hmm.
Great. Loads of people done well. I just wanted to watch it. And I knew that at some point it was going to start respecting the same psychology patterns, psychological patterns that every market respects. And so I tracked it, did some testing on it, picked a point at the market right now where I made a prediction about just over a month ago what happened. That is playing out perfectly at the moment. Where it goes, I don't know.
4,000 yesterday, I believe.
Yep. So
all the money.
If you're watching this, go and watch the video. It was trading at about 6.5. I said we're likely to see a small drop, 25% of where we're at, which takes us down to about 4, and then a rally up over the next 2 or 3 months to 28k. I got in. I made an investment in that.
Wicked. Great. Wicked.
But again, money I can afford to lose.
Of
I'm
course.
happy to accept I'm wrong. It's like a startup business to me. I've got an 80% chance of being right, which is better than a startup business. I'm trading money I can afford to lose. If it's a loss, great, but it's a swing at bat that I only have to connect with once in my life.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to connect with a couple of them in my life, So.
Wicked. Nice. And probably like final question again.
Yep.
So I'll give an example. So, have you come across people in your industry that have wanted to trade cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin and wanted you guys to create a service or a course or something so you can basically create some transparency in the industry? Have you come across that? Have anybody coming to you and asking you that? Or
yeah, we have. We always get asked about cryptocurrency, and as I say, it is the future. Like, we will be trading cryptocurrency in the future. Mm-hmm. That's it. So lots. Obviously, there was the summer of 2018 with the Bitcoin. It's seen a lot of hype lately. I think that's died down slightly, and now the influx of inquiries and pressure to talk about that has gone, but it will happen again because, as I say, we're gonna rock it on Bitcoin.
Let's see. Wicked. All right, great. Thank you for taking a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, same.
Thank you for taking the time out to speak to me,
yep.
And you answered probably more than I expected.
Good stuff. That's always good.
Wicked. So thank you for your time.
Good to see you.
Nice.
Cheers.